we won't meet again till next year. And so with that, I will call this meeting to order. Would you please stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, would you sign in, please? Ms. Hawley?
All councilors present, with Councilor Stefano previously requesting to be excused, and a quorum has been declared.
Thank you. Next up, we have agenda approval. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
There is not.
All right.
Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda as presented, excusing Mr. Stefano from the meeting.
I second.
We've got a motion and a second on the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Start voting, please. Ms. Hawley?
The motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Next up, we have citizens' comment. And I don't have any comments. I don't have any cards. So we'll just move on to ceremonial items. And this evening, we have the pleasure of two wonderful people. As a matter of fact, a former mayor, and I really wanted her to come up here and sit in this chair, and she won't do it. And Kathy Rogers and Randy Wright from the university. And I've got a proclamation here, and I will read this proclamation. Unless you folks have something to say, would you like to say something before I read the proclamation?
Maybe after.
Afterwards? That would be fine. Proclamation, Adams State University, Partner Appreciation. Whereas, Adams State University offers over 30 fields of study, including graduate programs to 3,701 students, and is one of the top employers in the San Luis Valley with more than 350 full-time employees. And whereas this combination of students and employees offers a wealth of intellectual, economic, and cultural opportunities and benefits that would not normally be available in rural Colorado. And whereas, through the leadership of Dr. Beverly McClure and the Board of Trustees, Adams State University has wholly embraced its role as a regional leader and strengthened its partnerships with local governments, economic development associations, K-12 school districts, and community nonprofits. And whereas, most noteworthy and recognized by many is Adams State University's focus on strengthening the entire San Luis Valley and all valley communities and schools. And whereas the City of Alamosa is especially appreciative of Adams State University's leadership on the Valley Initiative Partners, VIP, sectors partnerships, workforce pipelines, hemp, unmanned aircraft, art committee, water smarts team, broadband, general economic development support, and capital projects including Richardson Avenue, First Street, and Stadium Drive. Now therefore I, Joseph P. Lucero, Mayor of Alamosa, as well as your Alamosa City Council, have the authority, and by the authority vested in me, do proclaim appreciation to Adams State University as an essential community partner given under my hand and seal of the City of Alamosa this 21st day of December, 2016. And so I will sign this, and we will come down and present this to you folks. Council?
Are you going to put it in color? Yeah, I think we should. Green, red, and about trees. One more. Or not. Okay, you got it.
Thank you guys very much for this. This means
Said battery needs exhaustion.
Absolutely.
We will take a minute just on behalf of Dr. McClure and Arnold Salazar, chairman, and our fellow trustees, just thank the city of Alamosa and the staff and trustees as well. There has never been more cooperation and collaboration than there is now with everything going on, and you don't know how much we appreciate it. I think Alamosa, the San Luis Valley, and ASU are synonymous. What would we be without ASU and the cooperation and the leadership that the city of Alamosa has shown to help Alamosa get through the ASU get through some difficult times lately, and to continue to grow and strengthen. The city has helped with roadways, closing roads, improving roads, all those things that help make ASU better and more appealing to attract students. It's just an amazing relationship, and we truly, truly appreciate everything that you do. And again, on behalf of President McClure and the trustees, we treasure our relationship with you guys. So thank you so much. Randy?
Very quickly, as the mayor was reading that list, we've all been through all of those projects together. But when you put it down in black and white and you start reading through and you start categorizing all those things that we've done over the past year or a little more than that, it really brings to light what this relationship has become and everything that has happened between the city and the university. And as Kathy said, it's never been like this before. I think the Richardson Avenue project epitomized exactly what the relationship has become and how much we really appreciate the support of the city, and I think it goes both ways. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Happy
Randy.
holidays to
Council,
everybody.
do we have any comments? Councilor Coleman.
Yes, sir. I have a comment. Mayor Kathy and Board Trustee member as well, and Board Trustee member Randy, thank you so very much for coming out here tonight on behalf of Dr. McClure. Over the past year, I've had the fortune and opportunity to see Dr. McClure represent ASU throughout the San Luis Valley and on the state level as the president of the University of Adams State University. She is a true champion of higher education. She's a cheerleader for creating partnerships that promote value-added ag and healthcare inside and outside of the San Luis Valley. And she has this burning desire to see the university succeed in everything that she does for the university, and it's evident in everything that she does. I encourage Dr. McClure and the Board of Trustees to keep your heads up, keep pressing forward, because the hard work and dedication that Dr. McClure is putting into the university, the Board of Trustees are putting into the university, will soon pay off, and our community will benefit from the hard work that you've put into this over the past few years. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Councilor.
Very
Councilor
nice. Thank you,
Hensley.
Ty.
So I feel especially lucky and blessed because I obviously work at Adams State. I'm in the middle of my 9th year there, which I couldn't believe it's been that long. But I have to tell you, in that little over a year that Dr. McClure has been there, she definitely embraces and champions change that we needed. I will tell you, both from being on city council and a community member, just even listening to that list, it's unbelievable that many things have happened in this short time, plus all of the things that are happening at the university. And also as a professor there, the amount of projects that she allows the students to work on. And this, in the 9 years I've been here, is the most engaged that my students have been in different either community efforts or efforts that are going on in the school, and they get to be part of it, and there's that true pride. I know there was a presentation or two that obviously went to the board, and the economic impact study, but other things. I've got 5 projects going right now that are student projects that are both for the community and for the school. And I just think it's awesome, and I'm just looking forward, just in this short time, and all the things still to come. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Liz.
you.
Councilor Grego.
For me, it's been a great honor for the past 33 years of working with a great partner like Adams State College, the past trustees and past presidents. I don't think there's ever been a time where I think we've clashed. It's always been for what's good for the community, for the San Luis Valley. And today, with present trustees that once sat on this, have worked in our community, and Dr. McClure, the job that they're doing out there is great. And we're here to work together and continue working together to make it better, not only for the city of Alamosa, but the whole San Luis Valley. And we thank you, and whatever we can do for Adams State College and for Alamosa and the Valley, we're here to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Councilor Daniel.
Thank you, Mayor. I have been very much impressed. I worked at Adams State for 5 years before I started working in my current position. And this past year, the amount of partnership that I've been able to have both professionally through City Council and with the university has been amazing. And as Councilor Griego said, I think the partnership has always been there, but I think now it's much more visible. I think there's action being taken and people are present in a very different way than they have been. And that is due in large part to the leadership that you and President McClure have been giving to the university, so thank you for that. And Adams State is the reason I'm here and where I met my husband, so I have a lot of gratitude to Adams State. And so I think there's, it's a really special bond, I think, that the university and the city and the whole entire San Luis Valley have, so thank you for the work and the dedication you've shown.
Thank you.
So what you're saying is great stories really do begin here?
And Councilor Daniel, you are an example of many of the residents we have in Alamosa and the San Luis Valley now. They came here to Adams State and they chose to stay. And that's a great testament to our community and the welcoming nature of our community. And so thank you for being that example. We're so glad to have both of you. And your husband remains at Adams State, and we're so happy to have him. He really helps us out every day.
Especially in the meeting.
Councilor Vigil.
Thank you, Mayor. I also met my wife at Adams State.
Yes. Another great story.
Yeah. And we've stayed here, obviously. Just again, reiterate what everybody else said up here and the appreciation to the partnership that we have. And I want to come at it from a different angle. Being in K-12 education, I've seen over the last year and a half the connection, the trying to really get out to the San Luis Valley and the school districts and trying to keep those kids here at Adams State, and then helping them try to find a career here, teaching. I know that in teacher ed, they're really getting after it, trying to keep local talent here. As you know, we have a teacher shortage across the nation, especially here in the Valley. And one more thing is, and Mayor Rogers brought this up, they have, let's be honest, they have had some issues and some problems, but it's a testament to their leadership that they're meeting it head on, and they're finding ways to figure it out and not sweeping it under the rug, and I really appreciate that. So moving forward, and I hope we can go another 33 years, Mr. Grego, just cherishing that relationship between the two. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Vigil. Dr. McClure is a leader by example. You'll see her in the hallway with the students, with the staff and faculty, and she's right out there among the community every single day. I don't know how she has the energy, and she's just what we need at this time, and she will move us forward and help us to succeed. And she's strong and committed, and she is a testament to ASU, and we're very proud to have her here.
Very good. I don't think I can really improve on anything that's been said. You know, we've had many successes between the city and our university, And one of the things that we look forward to in the next few years is the enhancement of First Street. And of course, that goes right through the heart of Adams State University. We look forward to that relationship, that symbiotic kind of wonderful relationship in the sense that we have. And so we are always looking to improve the gateways and any of the basically entryways in and around our university and our entire school system throughout Alamosa. And so we look forward to working with you folks.
Well,
it's nice to have you here, Kathy.
it's nice to be on this side of the
and Randy,
chairs over there.
you're almost you come every once in a while. This is the first time we've seen Kathy here for a while, and it's a pleasure, especially
It's a pleasure
the
to
last,
be here.
you know.
I love you all. Thank
yeah,
you. It's
we
nice to
love
see
you
you.
guys, and you know what? It's just wonderful to have you here and to be partners with you. You know, our staff does a lot.
They absolutely do.
Heather and I know Dr. McClure work hand in hand to make things happen for all of us.
They do. They've
and
made
we
a lot of
appreciate our
good things
staff,
happen.
and I know you appreciate yours
We
as
do
well.
too. Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for all you do, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
That is one of the fun things we can enjoy as council, is having wonderful folks come in. Ruth, thank you for being here. You and Mr. McCann, wow. Anyway, I better not get off of this agenda thing, but anyway, we've got consent calendar A. The consent calendar allows multiple actions with one motion. Consent calendar A contains routine items which have been recommended for action by staff or advisory boards. Council may remove a consent calendar item for separate consideration. Tonight we have 3 items: the approval of the minutes of the meeting of December 7th, 2016. We'll receive the November monthly reports and receive the November 2016 expenditures reports.
Mayor, I move that we approve consent calendar A.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second to approve consent calendar A. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, start voting, please. Ms. Hawley?
The motion carried unanimously.
Move on to regular business. Business brought forward by city staff. Tonight we have city manager / legal. We have a second reading and public hearing on ordinance number 21-2016, an ordinance establishing a temporary moratorium on the placement of certain manufactured homes within the city of Alamosa other than in mobile home parks through May the 30th of 2017. Councilor?
Thank you, Mayor. We went through the background of this motion at the last meeting when it was presented on first reading, and I won't reiterate that. Just as a brief refresher, the moratorium's purpose is to place a hold on the placement of any manufactured homes other than in mobile home parks and other than homes that have been certified to meet the city's building code, the International Residential Code standards. So the purpose for that moratorium is to allow the city to consider whether there is appropriate placement of other types of manufactured homes in the city at the same time that the city is doing its revamp of the land use code. So we've got that going on right now. This moratorium allows this to be considered at the same time. And unless council has any questions, I think that it's set for a public hearing tonight and your consideration thereafter.
Thank you, Councilor. And with that, I will open the public hearing on ordinance number 21-2016. If there's anyone in the audience wishing to speak for or against this matter, please step to the podium. Mr. McCann?
Dan McCann, 1809 Sunset Drive, Alamosa, Colorado. This moratorium makes some sense because you're going to take a look at what's going on today with this type of housing. And I've been around here long enough. You give people the chance to give input. You give our public works the time to check things out, check the regulations. Things are changing all the time. You see, they're changing in cities all the time. Now, one reason most people want it, it usually is less expensive than a stick-built, you know. But we've got them all over the place, and if they do a good job, it's okay, you know. And if the city decides they don't want it, well, that's what you're elected to make these big decisions for. Like I say, that's what I always tell about the city council. Everybody I talk to, that's what they get the big bucks for, and we know I'm being facetious. Yes, you make about $25 an hour for about the time you put in, but nobody puts a gun in your head to sit there, right? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. McCann. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to speak for or against this ordinance? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing on ordinance number 20-2016 and bring it back to council for a decision or further discussion. Councilor Vigil.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd had a question for Mr. Eric. Did something happen, or was there a mobile home put up somewhere that this came about?
Yes, something happened. We had an application for not a mobile home, but a manufactured home come in, and that caused the building inspector, Harry Reynolds, to take a look at what had been allowed to be placed in the last 5 to 10 years, because the home that a permit was sought for was not certified to meet our IRC code, and yet was very similar, indistinguishable from homes that had been set in the same neighborhood within the last 5 to 10 years. And given that, we did not see, and given the confusion in our own code, we did not see a good basis for not issuing a code. I know that Mr. Reynolds did require some modifications to be done to the home before it could be placed in order to bring it into close compliance with the IRC. But that brought to a head the fact that we've got some ambiguity in the code that we need to deal with, and at the same time we're looking at land use issues in general with the rewrite of the code, and it seemed an opportune time to wrap the consideration of manufactured housing, including tiny homes and things like that, into the code consideration.
And it was a situation where this individual had already received the financing, the home was built, and they own the property. So by not allowing it, they really were going to be in a bind. And given the non-clarity that was in the code, we didn't want that same situation to be created for anybody else.
Was this the home that was just put up on West 7th?
No.
Okay.
Pat says no. I don't know where it was.
Councilor Grego.
I had some concerns, and I expressed them to our city manager. We kind of went over them. But my concerns were that we wouldn't block people that want to put something up. And there's a lot of people that don't want to go into these mobile homes. I mean, into these mobile trailer courts, you know, because some of them are not well kept up. So I think when we put this thing together, let's keep that in mind. I think eventually we're going to have an area where we can put some of these homes so people can at least go out there and have their own property. And I think as long as they put a foundation up and set it up right, according to whatever rules you put together, that should be enough, you know. But to block people from allowing them to have their American dream, you know, to have their own home, and a lot of people don't have the money to build it from ground up. So I think if we can work, and Harry has already proved it by what he did with this individual he dealt with. So I know there is some kind of morality there that we're willing to help these people. So as long as we don't block them, I want to work with them. So thank you.
Councilor Coleman.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councilor Grego, too, for your point. I think it's important that our residents know that what we're trying to do is not discourage homeownership. I believe we all want to encourage homeownership opportunities throughout our city, and by not allowing mobile homes that don't meet the IRC codes. I think we need to be specific in that area. And what we're saying, homes that don't meet the codes right now, we're going to look at other avenues for those type of people, because when we look at not allowing homes that don't meet the IRC codes, what in essence we're doing is we're protecting the values of the existing homes in those neighborhoods and residents by being making sure that homes are, I guess, on the same type of construction or in those neighborhoods. Another thing is that I believe that, and Pat, you can correct me if I'm wrong, by looking more into this and allowing certain types of structures in our community, I believe it helps with our CRS as well, and those areas which help with homeowners getting lower cost insurance. It also has something to do with the number of fire hydrants in the area and fire department responses and things like that. But by looking at the whole picture, it really is going to benefit the whole city and the residents as a whole when we look at that. I'm very glad that the city is being proactive with addressing and clarifying this, because by us addressing these issues right now from the banking side of things, we can save some of these people a lot of non-refundable monies that if they go out and try to buy a mobile home or put some money down and they build a mobile home in the future and then find out, well, you can't put it on that lot, they could lose those deposits. So by allowing them an avenue to come to the city and talk with our department that's responsible for giving them permission will allow them to make sure that they are able to put a unit where it deserves to be in the community. But those are my comments.
Thank you, Councilor Coleman. I had a couple of questions as well. There's been a lot, or there's a movement afoot, I guess, in some of the larger municipalities, Denver, for instance, where they want to use tiny homes. You've heard of these tiny homes, and they're basically looking at a homeless problem where they're trying to accommodate some of these homeless people in tiny homes. And there are even tiny homes on wheels, and is that something that we're going to look at as well, or not?
Yes, so for our land use code, it's something that we're not going to use the consultant to drill down a significant amount, but we're going to look at what categories would be appropriate for that type of development, and then that category will be defined in a way that if someone does approach us, then we can work with them on what appropriate development that would look like as well. So it's not going to be as specific as some of the other uses, but it's still going to be addressed through the land use code.
Very good. So the land use code as well as zoning, is that how we're going to take a look at this, and as far as the tiny homes go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments? If not, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I don't believe there's been a motion yet.
We haven't had a motion? Okay,
So-
I'll entertain a motion. Sorry.
So I move that we approve ordinance number 21-2016, an ordinance establishing a temporary moratorium on the placement of certain manufactured homes within the city of Alamosa other than in mobile home parks through May 30th, 2017.
I'll second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Just one more comment, Mayor. I just want to make sure that we're clear for people in the community to know is that if someone wants to put a home in the community right now that meets the codes and the standards, we're not telling them that they cannot build a home or have that home in our communities. I just want to make sure that's clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that comment. Councilor Grego?
One more comment also, and let's emphasize the fact that this is a very temporary moratorium until we put together the right structure to provide the right direction for these people.
Right. All right. Is there any further discussion? If not, start voting, please. Ms. Hawley?
The motion carried unanimously.
Thank you, Council. We'll move on to committee reports. Who has a committee report? Councilor Grego.
I guess I'll go ahead and start. I want to give a committee report on the airport, and I don't know whether to start with the bad news or the good news. So I think I'll start with the bad news. Tim Gallagher has asked not to be reappointed by the county commissioners, so he's resigning from the board. Al Franklin has been there about 25 years also. So he's been, both of those people have done a lot for the airport in keeping that alive and keeping it going. And I guess the county, after the new year, is going to restructure that board some way where they're going to make this more an advisory board. They're even thinking of looking at maybe enlarging the board to maybe a 5-member deal. So that's something the county commissioners will go through and restructure it. And I think the city will still play a role some way on that advisory board. I'm not sure. So, secondly, and you probably read it on the paper, boutiques, our airline. Boy, they've been doing a great job out there. Mm-hmm. You know, the employments are up to 488 just this last month. You know, and so far they've had some delays. They haven't had no cancellations. And due to the weather and stuff, we're lucky that that hasn't happened. So, and Dustin, our new manager out there, boy, he hit the ground running. He's been updating a lot of stuff out there that is creating more funding for the airport, stuff that was out of date, you know, as far as fees and stuff like that, and he's done a great job. So, and I've also brought in the minutes and the budget. In the budget, they've got the grant for the $6,334,952 for the reconstruction of the tarmac. And I got all this stuff, so if you guys want to read it, you know, there's a folder where you can read it and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff happening out there at the airport, and it's going to really be a big deal for economic development. So.
Councilor Vihil.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Grego, did you all talk about it all, the parking lot?
The parking lot, I believe you guys got a letter stating where they have put together the front part of the parking lot, and then they're going to come back. And what they want to really do is go out there and level out that parking lot because of the potholes and stuff that's out there. And then once this structure here begins, this construction, and all this black tar, once you start laying it, they're thinking of working a deal with those people to see if they can probably cover that whole parking lot. But the essential part of it in the front has been done, and according to the minutes and stuff, there was something like $42,000 that was set aside to do that front part of it. So.
And we have responded to that to indicate that they're still not meeting code.
Sure.
And there's requirements for that. We have not heard back from them on that, so we have set up a meeting for January 9th that we will continue those discussions with the county administrator and the airport manager and county attorney, along with some city staff.
One thing, and I wanted to follow up on this, is I think, and I told the airport board, is we need to meet together with them. I'm talking the county commissioners and the city council, and let's clean up this airport intergovernment agreement. I think I think Eric and Jason have been working on it, but I think we need to push it a little further and get this done, because the sooner we get all this entanglement down, you know, and we get it all straightened out, I think the better communication, and they'll be able to work better, and we'll be able to work together. And I've mentioned it to the city manager, and they're looking at it, but I think we're kind of moving a little slow on this. I think we need to get together with them and let's iron this whole thing out. And it's been an intergovernment agreement that started, like I say, Gallagher's been there 30 years. I've been here 33 years, and I was on that board that put together that intergovernment agreement back in 33 years ago. So I think it's something that we need to iron it out and get it all straightened out. And that's through Eric and Jason and the council and staff.
Councilor Grego, do you plan to remain on that board then?
I want to see what direction the county's going to go, you know, if they're going to, you know, but I know there's been other councilors that have interest in it, and we'll see when
but for right now, you're remaining on that board?
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilor Grego.
So to clarify, January 9th meeting, we will also be discussing the land that's jointly owned to try to clarify that and maybe develop a plan moving forward. It's something where we need to get agreement on exactly what land is considered. Part of the reason it needed to take a little bit is because of initial information that the county was receiving from FAA and if that land was tied up or not, and,
Sure.
and our ability to flush that out. But clearly, from our perspective, we do want to make it to where it's not jointly owned. The safety area very much needs to remain a county and for the airport. However, there's so much property out there that's jointly owned. The city has an interest for that area that's outside the safety zone and near our industrial park, because for economic development purposes, there should be a purpose for that. So that's essentially where those discussions are, is trying to further clarify what was considered airport property versus property that was just jointly owned, if anything's encumbered by the FAA, and that type of thing. And so we will be continuing those discussions again on the January 9th meeting.
Have you seen the map that they have of all the properties?
Yes, and we've been showing them the map that we have.
Because there was a map that I guess, I forget the engineering company that put that together. So
again, we're trying to get into agreement on what property is what.
Sure.
Okay. Well, we hope for success in 2017, and we hope that that parking lot can get paved ASAP. So communication is the key here. All right. Anyone else have a community report? Councilor Daniel.
Thank you, Mayor. The rec board met on December 13th. It was a fairly short meeting, but there were updates on the ice rink, the Cattails Golf Club with their new restaurant that has started. The Inspire implementation grant update that we received last time was presented to the rec board. That other communities in the valley got that, but not Alamosa. And then an update on the partnership with the Alamosa School District. And then the staff report was very exciting because there are lots of programs going on at the rec center right now, and they're doing a great job, as well as have expanded some hours. So I think it was all in all a pretty positive meeting.
Very good.
I had one question of Councilor Daniels. Are we building an all-purpose pavilion or an ice rink?
It said ice rink multi-purpose pavilion on my agenda. I apologize, Councilor Griego. They, you know, in my head, every once in a while I get lost, so that is totally my fault.
No, Councilors, I don't think any of us are lost. I think we totally understand it's a multi-purpose pavilion, ice rink / ice rink. So let's not get lost in semantics here. Oh, Councilor Hensley.
So last week I went to the golf board meeting, and pretty short meeting, same thing as they're getting ready to open the restaurant, which they're very excited about. Obviously it's a slow time for the golf course, so not a whole lot of news there. And then on Friday I did go to another CML meeting up in Denver, obviously getting ready for the changeover in leadership with the president and change in everything that's going on there. And so obviously looking to see what's going to happen legislative-wise, and so lots of stuff going forward.
Thank you, Councilor Hensley, for being on the executive board and keeping us in the loop. Thank you. Anyone else with a committee report? I also attended the rec board meeting, but Councilor Daniel covered that very well, and I'm sure Hines will probably talk about that as well. Staff announcements. Ms. Heather.
Thank you, Mayor. We are very quick tonight. For purposes of making the transition in our finance department, we have to have in our minutes, have them reflect that we will be working with our banking institutions to remove any signatories that shouldn't be on the accounts any longer, and adding Judy Kaloff as our finance director. And so I needed to make this announcement so our minutes can reflect that, and we can move forward in making the transition. And other than that, I think Holly has a very exciting announcement.
Oh, I do have one. So I was asked to serve on the CAMCA board, which is the Colorado Association for Municipal Court Administration. So I was appointed to that position on the 9th, so it's a 2-year term.
Well, very good. Congratulations, Ms. Holly. Sorry about that back there. I started clapping into the microphone. Are you all right? I woke you up. No,
And that's it, Mayor. There's no other comments.
Thank you, Heather. Councilor Vihil.
Yeah, just a quick question for either Holly or Heather. When is our mini retreat? Do you have that date off the top of your head?
It is January 28th.
January 28th. Move on to council comment. Councilor Vihil.
Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you for all that you do, staff and council up here. Be safe. Have a good time. Thank you.
Councilor Grego.
I had one, and I'm sorry I missed the last council meeting. Every year I go out with my wife for our
Are you having a good time wherever you go, Charlie?
But anyway, I had a question on the budget amendments, and I looked through the minutes, and they really didn't come out in the minutes on the employees' benefits, that 550,000 expense income due to high claims. What was it? What was that about? I thought maybe there might be some comment, but I didn't see it in the minutes.
So for HIPAA, we don't know specifically which claims.
No,
I mean,
I guess my question is, we're having a lot of claims then, I guess.
yes, we've had some high claims. We are working with our carrier to see if any of those claims should be legitimately ours or if they can
Sure.
be written off to another agency. But yes, we've had a few instances of fairly significantly high.
I saw that
claims.
figure, and I went through the minutes to see if there was an explanation. It wasn't, so that's all I got. And Merry Christmas too. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, all right. Any other comments? Councilor Daniel.
I just wanted to say happy holidays to everyone and to make sure that, if you use this time to spend with family or friends or whatever, that you take it easy and are safe and happy during the holidays. And thank you for the work this year, because this is the end of your fiscal year as a city. I'm used to working on a July 30th or June 30th fiscal year. So congratulations on finishing another year. And I know the finance department is rapidly wrapping things up, I am sure. So thank you for all the hard work.
Thank you, Councilor Coleman.
Thank you, Mayor. I too would like to thank council, staff, and the residents for giving me another opportunity to serve on council this year and to serve with you great council members. As we go out through the holiday season, I just encourage us not to forget the reason for the season, and also whenever you get an opportunity and you see someone out there, just give them a hug, because a hug is like a boomerang. You give one and it comes right back to you. Thank you.
Councilor Hensley.
I'd also like to thank my fellow councilmen and staff and the community. I'm wrapping up my very first year on City Council, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. I am very grateful and appreciative to be part of this, and also wishing everybody happy holidays.
Thank you. And I as well want to thank each and every one of you personally for the time commitment you've placed in this office, and I want to thank staff for the hard work they do on our behalf. They make us look good. And it's just a wonderful feeling at the end of the year to say, yeah, we've had some trials and some things have come up, but 2017 is coming up, and with high hopes and a lot of dedication and study and goodwill, I think 2017 will be a better year than 2016. Next year's always a better year, isn't it? Anyway, that's what I have to say. And, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Meeting adjourned.